What if I told you that there exists a martial art so deadly that colonial armies tried to crush it, that they did so out of fear it could give ordinary people the power to rise up in arms? Imagine a combat system where a strike, a joint lock, and the edge of a blade are all the same thing. This is not a sport. This is Pencak Silat. Today we're going to explore the Southeast Asian art of combat that blends fluid movements, exotic weapons, and techniques designed for one single purpose: survival. Get ready to discover the history, the tactics, and the power of one of the most fearsome fighting disciplines on the planet. Martial might, where warriors live forever. We'll travel to the heart of the jungle, to ancient royal courts, and to the back alleys of the Indonesian archipelago. But forget about points, rules, and medals. Today we're talking about an art born out of pure necessity, forged in rebellion, and polished through centuries of war. Pencak Silat is not just a set of techniques. It's the soul of a people who refused to vanish, a cultural expression as rich and profound as it is deadly. The term Pencak Silat actually unites hundreds of distinct styles across more than 13,000 islands. Pencak refers to the artistic side, the expression of movement, while Silat is the real application in combat, the essence of the fight. Together they create something that is both a deadly dance and a devastating system of self-defense. And to understand its power, we must go back to its origins. Unlike martial arts born in temples or dojos, Pencak Silat has its roots in the earth, in observing animals and in the war tactics of ancient tribes. Tracing its history is complicated, since most of its knowledge was passed down in secret, from master to student, guru to murid. Its earliest forms are believed to have appeared more than 1,000 years ago, influenced by the Hindu-Buddhist civilizations of Java and Sumatra, such as the Srivijaya and Majapahit empires. These kingdoms used Silat to train soldiers and expand their power. But the true essence of Silat was forged in the villages. The movements weren't created on tatami mats. They were inspired by the cunning of a monkey, the ferocity of a tiger, or the surprise attack of a snake. Every region, every community developed its own style, perfectly adapted to its environment. In the mountains, low and solid stances prevailed. In port cities, quick, evasive footwork was favored. This diversity is the first key to why it is so lethal: its incredible adaptability. There is no single Silat. There are hundreds, each with a different answer to the same problem: violence. Pencak Silat's reputation as a forbidden art is not just marketing, it's a historical scar. When European colonial powers, especially the Dutch, arrived in the Indonesian archipelago in the 17th century, they realized something. The greatest threat wasn't the armies, but the common people, and the language of their resistance was Silat. The Dutch didn't see just a fighting style. They saw cultural glue, a symbol of identity, and most dangerously, a tool that gave a peasant the confidence to stand against a soldier. That's why its practice was harshly repressed and restricted in many regions. But you can't ban a spirit. Silat went underground. It was practiced at night, in secret places, sometimes in cemeteries, where it was believed the spirits of ancestors would protect the fighters. The movements were disguised as folk dances or agricultural rituals to avoid suspicion. Every dance step could be a killing blow, and every farming tool a weapon. This secrecy made Silat even more efficient. Fights had to be fast, silent, and decisive. There was no time for long duels. Techniques were refined to neutralize opponents within seconds, attacking vital points, breaking joints, and using anything at hand as a weapon. Silat became the art of guerrilla warfare, of ambush, of the whisper that kills in the dark. One of the most fascinating and terrifying aspects of Pencak Silat is its arsenal. In other martial arts, the weapon is an extension of the fighter. In many Silat styles, the fighter is an extension of the weapon. The line between empty-hand combat and armed combat is nearly invisible. The most iconic weapon is, without a doubt, the karambit. With its curved blade resembling a tiger's claw, the karambit isn't made for stabbing, but for ripping. Its attacks are circular and brutal, capable of slicing muscles and tendons with terrifying ease. It is an intimate, savage weapon for close-range combat. Then there is the keris, a dagger with a distinctive wavy blade. The keris is more than a weapon. It is a spiritual object. Each one is believed to hold its own spirit. Legends say some were forged with poison mixed into the metal, but what was real was the practice of smearing blades with potent toxins before battle, ensuring even a scratch could be fatal. There's more. The selurit, a sickle used to hook and slice. The parang or golok, machete-like blades, capable of severing limbs with a single strike. Even clothing becomes a weapon. The sarong, a traditional cloth, can be used to trap, disarm, or strangle an enemy. And then there were darker tactics born of guerrilla warfare. The use of poison on weapons was not part of a formal curriculum, but a desperate measure in the struggle for freedom. Proof that in survival, sometimes there are no rules. Even without weapons, Pencak Silat is just as dangerous. Its body language is rich and unique, built on ideas that set it apart from other fighting systems. It begins with the feet, with the langkah, or movement patterns. A Silat fighter doesn't move in straight lines, but in triangles and zigzags, always seeking the best angle to strike while evading. Stances, or kuda, are often low, close to the ground, allowing for explosive power or the ability to fall and continue fighting seamlessly. Animal styles, or juris, are the heart of the system. The tiger style, harimau, focuses on low stances and leg attacks to bring prey down. The monkey style, monyet, relies on agility and unpredictability, confusing the opponent and striking from unexpected angles. Strikes are brutal and direct. Fists, palms, elbows, knees, and kicks all target weak points: the eyes, throat, groin, and joints. The aim isn't points, it's incapacitation. A key technique is pukulan, or barrage of strikes, where the fighter unleashes a storm of blows to overwhelm the opponent's defense. But it's at close range where Silat truly shines. Joint locks, kuncian, and takedowns flow seamlessly with strikes. A block isn't just a block, it's the start of a lock. A dodge puts you in perfect position for a sweep. This constant transition between striking, trapping, and throwing makes it unpredictable and lethal. It would be a mistake to think of Pencak Silat as only violence. It is a cultural and spiritual expression so significant that UNESCO recognized it as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. One thing that makes it unique is the gamelan music. In many demonstrations, fighters move to the rhythm of a percussion orchestra. The music is not just background. It dictates the pace of the fight. It speeds up during attacks and softens during moments of tension. That fusion of music, dance, and combat is the soul of Silat. It also has a strong spiritual side called tenaga dalam, or inner energy. Similar to chi or ki, it focuses on developing inner strength through breathing and meditation. Silat's philosophy is not about aggression. It teaches respect, humility, and protection of one's community. A true Silat guru is both a warrior and a community leader. When Indonesia gained independence in 1949, Pencak Silat finally came out of the shadows. It went from being a persecuted art to becoming a symbol of national pride. It was organized into a sport with rules and federations, and today it is taught in schools. Its effectiveness in real combat also caught the attention of elite military forces worldwide, who incorporated its principles into their training. But for most of us, Pencak Silat's global explosion has one name: Iko Uwais. Along with fellow Silat practitioners like Yayan Ruhian and Joe Taslim, Iko showcased the raw brutality of Silat in films like The Raid. For the first time, audiences weren't watching dance-like choreography, but Silat in its rawest, fastest, and most devastating form. These films not only revitalized action cinema, but also put Pencak Silat on the world martial arts map. Pencak Silat is a living contradiction, a deadly art disguised as dance, a philosophy of peace that teaches destruction, and a national sport that was once a forbidden cry of freedom. It is the legacy of a people who turned oppression into power and secrecy into their greatest weapon. From ancient royal courts and jungle resistance to the big screen, Silat remains as relevant and lethal as ever. It is not just a way to fight. It is the history, the spirit, and the indomitable warrior heart of Southeast Asia. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the incredible world of Pencak Silat. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, share it, and tell me in the comments which Silat weapon do you find the most impressive. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive into the world's most fascinating martial arts. See you in the next video.